Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, June 15th. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Gina Barty. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, here we go again. County Executive Rushern Baker has announced that he will perform line item vetoes to the budget passed by the County Council. Baker says he is following the advice of the county attorney. CTV Sonia Shrivastava has more.
Well, at a press conference earlier today, County Executive Rushern Baker made it very clear that he plans to do a line-by-line veto on the items that he says the county attorney is telling him that do not adhere to the county charter. County Executive Rushern Baker says he spent the last 10 days analyzing and reviewing the budget that was submitted to him by the county council. He says the council broke the law when it rejected his tax increase. According to a 2006 referendum passed by voters, there is a 1% limit on how much the council can increase or reduce the county executive's budget proposal.
The changes the county council approved in adopting the budget have reduced the estimated revenues in my proposed budget by 2.5%. It was determined that the majority of the adjustments made to my proposed FY 2016 budget were in direct violation of Section 809 of the county charter. I have been advised by our county attorney not to sign this legislation because it is in violation of the county charter. Therefore, I must veto line items in this budget that violate Section 809 of the charter.
The council, which meets tomorrow, can decide whether to veto or sustain it.
We're adding back $54 million of expenditure because they cut too much.
Now, again, the county executive will offer his line-by-line vetoes tomorrow. The county council then has one legislative day to act on those, and that means that they have until really next Tuesday, which is their next day, unless they call a special session. In Upper Marlboro, I'm Sonia Shrivastava. Back to you guys.
Stay with us. CTV will have much more on this story tomorrow.
The Montgomery County Council is considering a bill that would ban the use of pesticides in certain areas. Council Chair George Leventhal met with the media this morning to discuss the controversial measure that would limit insecticide use on most lawns and public spaces.
We should not be exposing our children, our pets, our water supply, our bee population to toxic chemicals merely for the purpose of having a weed-free lawn. You can have a beautiful, lush, green lawn without the use of chemicals that are hazardous to health.
Another bill under consideration would grant employees 1 hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked, with a maximum of 7 days a year.
I think it affects, the estimate is 100,000 workers across the county, because the growth sector, of course, in the economy for years has been the retail industry. And whether it's small businesses or large retailers, very often don't offer paid sick days to their employees, unfortunately. And those retail positions are, like you say, commonly filled with young people. So, I think for those of us who have sick days, this is good too. It's not only good for the people who will benefit from the law, but none of us who go and eat in a restaurant want a server who's sick to be bringing your food and potentially coughing on it or anything else. We want them to stay home and get better.
Meantime, the council will join Democratic and Republican Central Committees tonight at 7 p.m. for a forum on a new public financing law. The measure will help candidates qualify for partial public financing for local campaigns, starting with the 2018 elections. The law is the first of its kind in Maryland and throughout the D.C. region.
A woman who stole a vacant Cheltenham home and attempted to sell the property learns her fate today. Kenyatta Johnson was sentenced today to 8 years in prison for second and fourth degree burglary, as well as uttering and false entry into public record. The conviction stems from a 2013 incident. Prosecutors say Johnson broke into a vacant home and forged documents claiming the house was hers. And when the real owners tried to evict her, she filed a civil suit against them.
She really did prey upon individuals, people who had to spend their hard money to fly back and forth from California to try to fight these charges, because she was able to forge documents to try to get them evicted from their own home. Trying to get her evicted from their house. They spent a lot of time and money, and ultimately she's really preyed upon people who are hardworking folks for her own personal benefit. So we're pleased that she's going to have this ultimately 8.5 years of active incarceration, and that'll give her hopefully plenty of time to think about these actions.
Johnson also tried to sell a home of an Upper Marlboro woman who died several years later.
Prince George's police are investigating a drowning at a local motel swimming pool. The incident happened on Sunday at the Days Inn in the 5100 block of Allentown Road in Camp Springs. Now, according to the Washington Post, rescue responders arrived at the scene and tried to resuscitate the man by using CPR. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. The victim's name has not been released.
Well, after 55 years of publishing, Gazette newspaper in Prince George's and Montgomery counties will print their final edition on June 18th. The shutdown will affect 69 jobs. The papers are owned by Post Community Media, part of the Washington Post company, which has suffered drops in advertising and other financial struggles. The Gazette headquarters in Gaithersburg will also close. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Gina Barty.
And I'm Patricia Vallone.